Hello everybody, in this video we're going to be taking a look at creating the connections from the arm to the bind skeleton, and then also creating a blend attribute on this hand control, so that way we can go from the from the IK to the FK joints. Right now I have everything with the visibility turned off for the most part, except the extras, which are my measure tool that I have here. But I turned the visibility on all the other objects that we have here. We have the FK chain, which is there. Then we have the IK chain, which is here. And then if actually we move both of them, we can see that we have the bind rig there in between. Okay, so now with everything overlapping, what we can do is let's go into the bind joints, and we are going to find the shoulder. So I just selected it to make it a little bit easier. You can see everything that we're expanding up to there. And then we are going to do the IK. The IK has two sets of joints right here, the anim and the main IK joints. So I can actually hide the animation skeleton, and that just gives us, if we move the IK chain, all of the joints here that we can work with. Okay, and then now in the IK chain, I have the shoulder here, and then the FK chain, let's move this right here so we have a little bit easier access to it. We have that. So I want to create a control here. I'm going to go to the palm control that we had, or the hand control. You can see it's left hand control, and we're going to go to edit, add attribute. This attribute that we're going to be adding is going to be the IK underscore FK blend underscore blend. We're going to leave it as a float because we are going to be able to blend between the two values, and then we can do boolean and enum as other options if we wanted it to be a switch rather than a blending attribute. Then here I'm going to start off with a minimum value of 1 and a minimum of 0 and a maximum of 1 with a default value of 0. Add. There we go. We have the blend, and we can basically go incrementally between 0 and 1. Here we go. So now we need to build a connection that we're going to be connecting this to. We have to have them exactly on all the joints on top of each other. So what we're going to do is now go to the target. So I'm going to start off with the IK, then the FK. So I have to hold down Control, and then go to the bind. So it's the two targets first, and I'm going to try to keep that same order. IK, then FK, then the bind. Okay, so I have those, and then I can go to the rigging mini set here, then go to Constraint, Parent Constraint Option Box, and we will go to Apply. So right now, if we move the IK joint, we can see that it matches it halfway between the IK and the FK. Here in the FK joint, we can go here and adjust it that way as well. So I have maintain offsets on, and translates and rotates all for the constraint angles. So that's what we're going to do there. Then I'm done with the shoulder, and now we can go expand that, and we'll go to the shoulder twist 1, and we should have that on each one of the chains. Here's the twist 1, and in the FK there's the twist 1. So I am going to select the IK twist 1, the FK twist 1, and then we're going to go into the bind twist 1. Select them all in that order. Go to constrain, parent constrain. You can probably leave this open because we're going to repeat this all the way down through to the wrist. So I click apply, and then we have 2 joints set up. Then we can expand going down the chain. Oops. So here I wasn't paying attention and I actually did the elbow for the twist. So if we look at the twist one and expand that, we should have the twist bind, and we can see that it labeled the elbow as the joint that it's controlling. So let's go down and fix that really quick. So it's really we have to be really careful and make sure that you have the right joints being parent constrained to each other. So let's try that again. Twist 1 in the IK, twist 1 in the FK, and then twist 1 in the bind and apply. So now that is set up fine. Then we can go to twist 2. Twist 2 is visible on each one of them. So we're going to go IK, FK, and the bind joint. Apply. Okay, so I'm going to go through the process of doing this for all of the joints, and then when we get back, we will have this all set up all the way up down through to the wrist. Alright, see you in a moment. Okay, so now that we finished through, we should be able to move the arm, and we can see that it is trying to blend between the 2 joints here, or 2 sets of joints, which is good. So we have the values matching up here. So they are kind of split halfway and getting all of the animation the way we need it to. Okay, so now what we need to do is make sure that the that we are blending between these joints with the hand control that we have here. There we go, we have the hand control. We want to make sure that the weights that we have that we created in the bind skeleton, so all these weights right here, when it is set to IK, this should be 1 and then this should be 0 for all of the joints. And you can see how it starts snapping all the way over here. 1 and then 0. You can see that it snaps to be set to exactly one joint or another. Okay. Let's set these back to 1, so that way it is right in between each one of these. There we go. Okay, now what we want to make sure is that we can build that connection. So we want to, so that's the twist, this is the wrist. Okay, we'll start off with the wrist. So looking at the value right here, if we are set at 0, we want it to be all the way to the IK because we've set that value 1 at first, and then the FK at 1, just because of the order we wrote in it. It's not like a set rule, but that's kind of the way I like to see it happen. So here in the wrist, when it is at 0, we know the FK is going to be 0. So what we can do is go to the connection editor and let's select the wrist. Expand it. There we go. The wrist constraint, and then let's go to Windows, General Editors, and Connection Editor. So I'm gonna put it on this side. We got the 2 weights over here, And then on this side over here, what I'm going to do is select this control, reload right, and let's make sure that we turn non-keyable off. There we go. So this is going to be connected directly to the FK, and we're building a direct connection there. So now we can go down the chain basically and say that we are connecting it directly to that FK. And we are done with the chain now. So right now, when the value of this control here is set to 0, we have the it going to the IK joints. Then we can actually start blending, and you can see that it will start blending right now, and then when it goes to 1, it basically resets all the values so that they're 1 and 1, but we want this to go down to 0. With the direct connection, we can't really kind of do that the way we would kind of hope. Because, yeah, basically we need it to go reverse. So what we can do is do a set driven key. So let's go to the animation menu set under keys, and then we have set driven set here. Go to the option box. So the driven is going to be the weight for any particular object that we have selected here. And then the driver is going to be this. So let's load up the driver. The driver is this IKFK blend. So when we are at 0, let's go over here and select this and change this to 0. This is completely correct. So what I want to do is start off at the wrist, load driven, and then here for the IK joint, we can select the IKFK and key. You'll see that we have a little tick there. That means that the key has been set. Then we can go down the chain and just set that up for the IKFK chain right here. We're just going to make sure that we key the starting pose for the IKFK chain that we got going on here. Make sure that we switch the driven and we keep the same driver. Almost down the chain now. We got one more. Okay, so now we have all the values at 1, which is great. But we want to go here, and we need to go all the way to a value of 1. If we look at these here, they're still at 1 no matter what we do. So we want to make sure that we are setting a secondary value now, and we're going to set a second key here. So now what we can do is put this at 0. And you can see how it now snaps down to the FK side. So I'm just going to key and make sure that I reload the driver, switch it, and we should see it snap down all the way down the chain. So we got here, bring this down to 0, set a key, 0, set a key, driver, 0, set a key, and repeat that over and over through the whole chain. set a key, 0, set a key, 0, set a key, and hopefully the last one, let's load that there, 0, set a key, and then now we can test this really quick. Let's make sure that we get it going back and forth from the IK to FK. And we can see that I actually missed one of the joints there. So when it is at this stage here, let's go through and find that joint. That's the elbow twist 0, 1. So we have the twist 0, 1. We can see that that value is not at 0. So what we want to do is make sure that we load driven, select that, make sure that we set it to 0, and then key. There we go. And we can retest that here. We can see that it is blending from one to the other. That is exactly what we want to happen for the IKFK blend setup right now. So let's end this video here. We still got more to finish the arm. We want to make sure that the correct controls are visible when we're working with the arm, and we need the hands to move with the rest of the arm. Alright, we'll see you guys in the next video.